Hey gang, we hope you enjoyed this week's show. I'm flying solo this week, but we had a whole lot of help from our callers here on Catch a Memory Outdoors. Had a big time talking about the water quality and how much we are enjoying getting out there and seeing fish in the water, schooling, cruising edges, and being able to catch these redfish, trout, and various other species. Had a couple of special call-ins from some special guests. Hopefully you guys and gals are going to enjoy today's show.
Hey guys and gals, welcome. It's another edition of Catch a Memory Outdoors right here on WWBC 1510 AM. We appreciate y'all tuning in every Saturday morning to see what's going on up and down the Space Coast. It's, man, it is getting to be warm. It is getting to be summertime. You know, I was just getting back from Islamorada. For those of you that listened in last week, we had a great show with Randy Tao and Greg Dornew down out of Randy's shop, Islamorada Outfitters down there. And, man, what a great show. Catch a Memory is so fortunate. I am so fortunate to be able to have friends in other areas around the state. It's just really, really cool that we can go down and we can do live remotes like at Randy's shop and talk with guys like Randy who have been guiding for over 40 years. And, I was just thinking to myself, I was like, it is getting to be summertime because we have indicators. Okay, we talk about the white butterflies, and when the white butterflies come out, the trout start biting, and the tarpon start showing up, and we call them tarpon flies or trout flies and things like that. But there's other indicators, and two of the indicators that really hit me because it had been almost a year since I'd kind of seen them in full bloom. The Royal Poinciana trees down in the Keys in the south part of the state are all in full, they have red leaves, or it looks like flowers or something on them. And man, I tell you, everywhere up and down the drive back and forth to Islamorada, just red Royal Poinciana trees. And the other thing, the Frangipanis, blooming, just like blooming like crazy everywhere around Central Florida and all the way through South Florida. And that's how you know that we have finally arrived at summertime. It's that time of the year. So, it's there's little indicators that kind of make you smile once in a while and be able to say, hey, it is that time of the year. And it's like the cobia bush that's in my next door neighbor's yard. The azalea bush starts blooming when the cobia show up. So anyway, we appreciate you guys and gals tuning in. And I just kind of just reminiscing about the drive back and forth here to Islamorada over the past couple of weeks. Anyway, enjoyed it. But you guys and gals, hopefully you are going to enjoy this show today. We've got a lot for you going on here on Catch a Memory. Unfortunately, my guest co-host had some car issues this morning and is not able to make it. So I'm going to be flying solo this morning. So if you guys and gals would like to give me a call here, we can do a little chatting. You can ask some questions. We can figure some things out with your particular fishing or rigging of your tackle or your boat or whatever it happens to be. And it's real easy. 321-632-1000. That's 321-632-1000. And you can give us a call, or me a call, right here at the studio here in Cocoa. And, it's one of those scenarios. I got back from Islamorada, had a great trip down there. Lots of permit. For those of you guys that are going down, guys and gals are going down, lots and lots of permit. We had almost every day we had at least one or two permit. I had one day where we hooked 6 and landed 4, and then had one day where we actually landed 8 permit. So that is my personal best for number of permit that I've ever caught with clients in a day. So had a lot of fun doing that. Tarpon bites picking back up. The crabs are starting to flow out of the inlets or around the bridges down there. And yellowtail on the reef is solid. Mangrove snapper is solid. Dolphin bites going on down there pretty good right now for those of you guys and gals that are getting ready to go down. I know Chris Pashos, I was talking with him. He's getting ready to go down to Marathon. My good friend Daryl McCall is going down there as well. He's going to be celebrating his birthday down in the Islamorada area. So I want to wish Daryl a happy birthday. My best friend Dave Marshall was out yesterday was his birthday, so want to wish him a happy birthday. And anyway, a lot of guys going down to the Keys this time of the year. So if you're looking to do some dolphin, there's definitely some dolphin action going on. My good friend Jody Calderon was down there last week with with us, and Jody ran out about 15 miles and landed a bunch of dolphin up to about 40 pounds. So some really nice dolphin action going on down there right now. Hopefully that will transition up here into the Central Florida area, and we'll start to see that. But one of the things that I noticed, I was on the water yesterday with some new clients. I hadn't had them out before, and it's always nice to get new guys on the boat because it's a potential to start a relationship and start a repeat business for those clients and getting them coming back. And yesterday I was in the Banana River, and the fish yesterday, the redfish, the not so much the snook, but the redfish in particular, were cruising from place to place. They were moving up and down the banks. There was a lot of movement going on from the redfish yesterday. So it's pretty interesting to see those fish. And it didn't matter where I stopped, as long as if there were redfish there, they weren't just sitting and waiting to ambush something out from under a tree or a dock. They were actively cruising the shorelines. There's a lot of fry in the Banana River right now, and most of the area looks pretty good. So there's a couple of dirty spots, but most of the Banana River and Sykes Creek area still look really, really good, even though we've had a little bit of rain up here, and it's some of that's washed in. But the small fry, the glass minnows, the baby pilchards, little teeny tiny pilchards that are half an inch, 3/4 of an inch long. When you find schools of those along the shoreline, that's where you're finding your snook. That's where you're finding your trout. That's where you're finding your redfish. And so I would encourage you guys and gals that if you're getting out and you're looking at a piece of water, look at that piece of water in this aspect. Okay, I want to find multiple types of bait in the area that I want to fish. And you guys have heard this for years and years. If you find multiple types of bait in an area, you're going to find more predator fish in that area. So if you find the area where there's glass minnows or baby pilchards, and then you find that there's some fingerling mullet cruising up and down the shorelines, or some pilchards. I found some beautiful 3.5 inch long pilchards yesterday. Perfect size baits for snooks and redfish. And got a net full of them and put them in the well. Did a really good casting those at the reds and the snook. But if you find, those different types of baits, and then especially if you can take the big mullet, those 10, 11, 12-inch mullet, and you can group them into that area as well, I'm telling you, you're just piling on the sprinkles on the ice cream sundae, if you will. It's just making it that much better. And it's one of those things where the more bait you get into an area, the more healthy that area is, the more life there is, the more the predators want to come to that area and cruise that area and look at those opportunities for them to feed. Yesterday was one of those kind of days. We had a full moon, so it was a little difficult, little more difficult than really what it should have been to actually get a good solid bite from the about the 8:30 time frame to about the 11:30 time frame. We had a lot of pickup and misses. We had a lot of half-hearted attempts where the fish would swirl on the pilchards or on the shrimp. I had some shrimp as well. They would swirl on them, but they weren't necessarily eating them. And then around 11:30, 12 o'clock, all of a sudden, that moon got into a better position, got down under, and we had a sort of a coming into the major, and the fish decided it was time, and we ended up doing really well. Some nice reds, nice snook yesterday. So those fish are out there. You just have to kind of wait them out, have the right baits, be in the right place, and you can make that happen. So give us a shout here, 321-632-1000. And we would love to hear from you. So let's see here. I got a bunch of people blowing me up on the phone this morning. And we're going to have a special call in from Captain Kyle Weaver this morning. Kyle, as you all know, is on a big game. He's on big game quests all the time, but he is back over, I believe, in the Azores, and we'll be hearing from him today. So those of you guys and gals that got to listen to Kyle's adventures last year on chasing marlin and big-eye tuna and bluefin tuna, Kyle is back over in the Mediterranean area. Eastern Atlantic, and we're going to be hearing some tales from him. He's running a brand new boat. We'll get to hear all about that boat as well. But want to take our first break of the morning, and when we come back, we're going to say hey to a whole bunch of guys on Facebook, and we'll get a whole lot more Catch a Memory going right after this. I'm Captain Jim Ross. We're going to be right back, so don't go away.
Exchange is your one-stop boating center with locations in Rockledge and New Smyrna Beach. We're family-owned, offering new and used boat sales, consignment boats, 5-star Yamaha and Mercury service, marine electronics, accessory installs, boat detailing, repowers, and more. Stop by and check out our awesome selection of fishing boats, bay boats, deck boats, pontoons, and runabouts. We've selected the best brands, including Everglades, Cobia, Pathfinder, Hughes Maverick, Yamaha Jets, Abbott Aluminums, and Bennington Pontoons. Already have a boat? Stop by Boaters Exchange and check out our ship store, or drop off for your annual service by one of our certified techs. Boaters Exchange is locally owned with a passion for our Indian River Lagoon. Find us on social media, our website, or call or text us at 321-638-0090. We love to see you boat.
Assassin, the most trusted name in bass fishing lures, is now the top soft plastic lure brand for saltwater. Sea trout, tarpon, redfish, and snook hammer the Saltwater Assassin 4-inch sea shad. With its amazing swimming action, this lure sets the bar for swim bait designs. Other companies continue to try, but none have been able to replicate the action of this incredible minnow-style lure. But Assassin has other proven designs. I like the native shiner-colored 5-inch Shad Assassin. That's my go-to lure when I'm targeting big gator trout. Redfish love the Drunk Monkey or the Mudbug-colored 4-inch Assassin Shrimp Cocktail. And you can rig these on a weedless worm hook or the amazing Assassin Springlock Jig Head. Now, these are just a few of my favorite Assassin lures. Check out what top professional anglers have known for years. Assassin lures simply catch more fish, and you can get them at your local tackle store or go to bassassassin.com and get some of these fantastic lures for yourself. Starbright Premium Marine Polish helps keep your boat looking great. This easy-to-apply premium polish uses polymers instead of wax, so it lasts up to 3 times longer than traditional boat wax. The polymers in Starbright Premium Marine Polish are also easier to apply, block UV rays better, and help keep fish blood, slime, and poop and other stuff from sticking to your gel coat. Starbright Premium Marine Polish isn't a wax, it's a sealer. It's safe for all fiberglass, paints, and polished metals. You won't believe how awesome Starbright Premium Marine Polish will make your car or truck look too. Wax is for surfboards, not boats. Protect your boat with Starbright Premium Marine Polish. Hey guys and gals, welcome back. We appreciate you tuning in every Saturday right here to Catch a Memory Outdoors. This segment of the show is brought to you by Lamb Deck. And if you guys haven't gotten in, if you haven't checked out the EVA non-skid decking for your boat, you really need to check it out. It makes the boat so much more comfortable to fish on. It's super easy to clean up. And man, at the end of the day, you don't feel like you got run over by a truck. It really makes your knees and back feel a whole lot better. So give the guys up at Lamb Deck a call. Let them make your boat more safe because of that EVA non-skid decking. And, of course, they've got a lifetime warranty on it. 321-505-4888. That's 321-505-4888. That is the way to get a hold of those guys and have them check out your boat and get some EVA non-skid decking on it. We're going to go to the phone lines. We got Captain Kyle Weaver on this morning. Good morning from we're going to play the game again. Where's Kyle?
I am on my couch.
Oh, on your couch. I thought you were in the Eastern Mediterranean.
The yacht is over there now, and then we load the sport fish boat up, I think, on the 30th out of West Palm, and then we get offloaded in Canary Islands, Grand Canary. And then the season starts.
And then it starts. Okay, so you've got a little reprieve. I thought you were already long gone.
Well, we got the big boat over. The 150-foot's over now, and then I won't see that boat until probably August 1st. It's going to do with the family and the med. And then we'll get the Canaries regroup and then get the Madeira and start our season in Canaries and Madeira and fish the World Cup in Madeira and then on to the Azores.
Now, real quick, Kyle, the reason that you guys go over to that part of the world is because in the summertime, that's where the congregations of large marlin tend to be in the Atlantic Ocean basin, correct?
Yeah, I mean, right now Cape Verde is extremely hot. this, the Bahamas is good, and then you're starting to see those fish move up the East Coast, and you're starting to see a really good bite in the Carolinas right now with blue marlin and the Gulf. As those waters warm up, those fish are migrating up just like, the trout and redfish or anything back home migrates, or the bluefish. So the Azores is North Atlantic, and it's the tailing end of the Gulf Stream. So it's a cold, deep water coming upwelling, and then the Gulf Stream pushes over top of it, and it creates just that nutrient-rich environment that's just full of life in a very remote location.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's the most important part, is a very remote location, so you've got very little pressure on those fish.
Yeah, I mean, we used to go to Bermuda. That was a big trip. Bermuda's exactly 1,000 miles from Cape Canaveral. It's like 740 from the Bahamas, or 6-something from the Carolinas, but it's actually sits off more like Savannah, Hilton Head. It's not as far north as people think. But that used to be a really, really good fishery, and then over the years, with the modern boats, more and more boats could make it. So the pressure, same amount of blue marlin are being caught, but instead of the 10 boats catching them, now you have 40 boats. Well, we're going to have that problem this year in the Azores because in Madeiras, the word got out last year how good the bite was, and now I think there's going to be 9 U.S. boats going over, and I just got word that there's 2 or 3 300-foot super mega yachts coming that are, Middle Eastern royalty family that are coming. So that's just going to put a lot of pressure on that fishery.
You think about it. I've got a 24-foot bay boat. Most of the listeners of this show have got, 20 to 30-foot boats, I would say, on average. And, we look at our boats and we're like, man, that's a big expenditure, 50, 80, 100, sometimes $200,000, $250,000 for a play toy, if you will. But that's, when you start talking about, I'm going to put my 60-foot sport fisherman on a 150-foot yacht, that's a play toy. And now you're talking guys are going to be rolling in there with 300-footers.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. We just fueled up in Madeira on the yacht, and it took us right at 13,000 gallons to get across. And then I was, from there we got another 1,400 miles to Moscow where the boat's going to go, and then from there, so you're looking at close to 30,000 gallons of fuel to get the boat from point A to point B.
Just to get there, 30,000 gallons of diesel fuel at marina prices.
Yeah, we get them at, those boats don't go to a marina. They're, you have to go into the port.
Well, I was going to say, you probably, at 13,000 gallons, you've got either a fuel barge or a tanker truck or two.
Or
three that you're taking what the average gas station fills up at every couple of days. You're taking 3 of those on board your boat.
Yeah, it took me a little over 7 hours in Fort Lauderdale to fuel that boat off the trucks, and we had 3 of them come.
Wow. Yeah. It's way above my pay grade.
Yeah.
Way above my pay grade. Well, what's so Kyle? Last year, you guys were targeting female, ladies world records. Is that the game plan again this year?
No, it's not. I left to a new program, a better option, and a bit. Obviously you got to chase the money and chase your livelihood. But I've left that program, and we were shut down last year on a lot of the world record fishing due to the regulations. This year, the Azores has finally approved us to kill 3 tunas and 1 blue marlin, and this owner here is strictly after, what we call the dream fish, the grander. And
okay.
Most people are looking for that 200-inch white-tailed deer or that 400-inch elk. We're looking for that 1,000-pound plus blue marlin this year.
That 200-pound tarpon. So you guys are looking for 1,000-pound blue.
Yeah, or the 100-pound wahoo, right? We're going after one big giant fish, no light tackle. We're going heavy-duty, big heavy-duty stuff.
Gotcha. So you're running 130s?
Yep.
400-pound leaders?
No, 600 and 900-pound leader.
600-pound and 900-pound leader. material, which is basically looks like the winch cable on the front of my wife's Jeep.
I like it. At my age, I don't need to put my reading glasses on to crimp that stuff.
I hear you, brother. I hear you. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, our lures, we pull like a 48-inch mud flat for teasers and, just heavy stuff. Those fish are eating 150, 200-pound tunas, so you're putting big stuff out. You got to match the hatch, and that's what they're eating. They'll eat little stuff, but, the hooks we use are custom hooks that are as strong as you can get. They're all hand forged. I bent so many hooks last year, I don't want to go back with that style hook again, so we had a company that's in Japan make this hook for us and the guys in Hawaii and, the guys that are out after, these kind of fish, because you will straighten hooks out when you're pulling on them.
So you're using 12-aughts, 14-aughts? What size hooks are you?
No, I like 9, 10, 11s.
Even though you're going for a 1,000-pound fish, you're kind of staying with a standard-sized hook, huh?
It'll get in that bone where you want it. The bigger the hook, the easier it is to bend, right? And you go too big, you start getting over top of the bill, and, these fish don't have teeth, so you want something that's just big enough that can get something, but it's going to get in that jawbone and get a good bite. You don't want a really, really big hook,
Understood. I can relate to that with my tarpon fishing because, we have over the years gone from commercial style circle hooks, 12-aught, 14-aught circle hooks. We've actually, at this point, I've scaled my hooks all the way back to I'm kind of settled in on around a 7-aught in the VMC series.
Yep.
That's 7385 vanadium steel. It's a super strong steel, but very thin diameter so that it penetrates easier. And like you say, once it's in, it has a hard time coming back out.
Sure. And, you got to look at when I fish with people 9 times out of 10 wherever I fish, back home, I should say, everybody uses too heavy of a hook, too thick of a gauge hook for what they're using. These, it takes me 22 pounds of drag to bury that hook, right? Like pitch baits, normal marlin fishing, like sail fishing and marlin fishing in the Bahamas on ballyhoos and stuff like that when we're catching the tunas and the mai-mais and just fun fishing on 30s, which most of us can do. An 8-aught circle hook, 1X is all you need. And that's what we catch all our blue marlins down there on. It's, it's nothing heavy, nothing crazy, simple. It works. Now, for my pitch baits over there, I throw a 12-aught up to a 14-aught circle hook, but it's a 4X. It's super heavy gauge because I got to be able to pull on that fish and not bend the hook.
Right.
That's all it takes. It doesn't take a giant hook. A circle hook, they're great if you learn how to use them, but you don't need these giant hooks like people think. Keep it light, keep the wire thin, and you'll get better penetration, and it's just all around better.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about some of the guys using whole Jack Crevalle or whole Bonito trying to catch 400, 500, 600-pound Goliath grouper, and they're typically trying to use like a 16-aught circle hook on that thing. But, I guess because a marlin it can't run you back into the wreck. And the fight time is so much shorter with a Goliath than it is with the blue marlin. And the Goliath's not jumping and shaking and doing all the things that a marlin can do. You can go with a different style hook and still be successful.
Right. Well, the whole point is like those 8-aught VMCs. That's the standard. Almost every single boat in the Bahamas right now fishing release billfish tournaments is using a 8-aught on the ballyhoos and a 10-aught on the mackerel. Mm-hmm. Now, if you're trying to, you grab that, you hold it, and the whole reason for circle hooks, better release, you grab the leader, that hook will open up, release, you bend it out, the fish swims off, no hook in his mouth, or it crows really quick out of his mouth.
Yeah.
You got to pull really hard, such as a grander blue marlin that you're trying to put a gaff into, or a big Goliath grouper. Absolutely, you need a 3X, 4X hook.
Yeah.
But the 16-0, I very rarely, it's too big. I mean, if you think about the jaw structure of a blue marlin, a 12-aught will get in that jaw just as good as same with the Goliath grouper. You don't need a giant hook.
Gotcha.
You
Gotcha. Well, buddy, I tell you what, man. I hope I know you're getting excited about it. You've been planning for this for since last year. Even though you changed programs, you've been gearing up for this fishing all summer long over there, and looks like you guys are going to have a fun time. 150-foot mothership, and what a 60-foot Viking he's running. What is it? What kind of?
This is a Bertram, actually,
Bertram,
which is an
okay.
old, we redid a 54 Bertram, which happens to be one of my favorite boats, completely redone. Got a Seakeeper in it, obviously all the fancy electronics and all that. Great sea boat, and those things are always known for raising fish. So I'm super excited to meet the chef and not have to worry about meals.
Yeah, you don't have to cook for your owners after you get done fishing them all day. Yeah.
Oh no, there you go. Have a good day. See you in the morning.
Yep, that's awesome.
It's going to be a very relaxing season for me this year compared to what I've, last X amount of years. So I can't wait, and it's going to be a good one. So cannot wait.
Well, I appreciate you calling in this morning, and good luck with it whenever you finally get there, buddy.
Yeah, I'll give you a shout when we get over there and get rolling. So,
that sounds fantastic.
I'll send pictures of loading the ship, so that's always exciting.
Yeah, definitely. All right, Kyle. Well, you have a great morning, and we appreciate talking with you this morning.
Have a good one. Have a good one.
All righty. Bye-bye now. Hey, gang, we are going to take our next break. When we come back, we've got a whole lot more. If you guys and gals have been trying to call in on the phone lines, there's been about 5 people try to call while we had Kyle on there. Give us a shout back. We've got a whole lot of show to go. We'll slide you in somewhere. We appreciate you trying this morning. We're going to be right back with more Catch a Memory after these messages, so don't go away. Hey, guys and gals, Sun State Pest Management is the sponsor of this segment of the show. If you guys and gals live in Florida, then you know you've got bugs. And ants, roaches, spiders, you name it, these pests are trying to get in your house, get in your garage. They love living indoors because in the wintertime you keep it nice and warm, and in the summertime you keep it nice and cool. And they like those types of things when the weather outside is inclement. So don't let them get in your house. Give Sun State Pest Management a call at 800-781-7378 and let them take care of your pest problems right now. I've got a good one for them, and I don't know if they can handle this one or not. But I came home from Isla Mirada this week, and we now have a beehive that is making it. The bees have made a hive underneath my shed. So that's going to be an interesting one. I need to see if they do that kind of thing. If not, I'll have to call Captain Blair Wiggins, and we'll see if Blair's got somebody. He's kind of on it. See if he's got anybody that's interested in coming over and getting this hive, because they are in full effect in the backyard right now, which is not a good thing if you have dogs. So anyway, interesting segue there to the Sun State Pest Management control segment of this show. We're going to go to the phone lines. We got Capt Matt Lee on the line this morning. Good morning, Matt.
Good morning, buddy. How are you?
Doing good, man. I'm doing good.
Solo today, huh?
Yeah, solo. My co-host had some car issues this morning and couldn't make it, so we're flying solo on the air this morning. But I appreciate you calling in and letting us know what's going on.
Yeah, man. Well, glad to be on the radio. Talking to you anyway. I guess your trip in Keys was good.
Oh man, permit bite was off the chain. I mean,
yeah, I need to get with you on that one day.
Holy cow, was it good? Now, on the flips on side B of that record, bonefish non-existent. I don't know. I went to every one of my good bonefish spots on prime tides. I saw 2 bonefish and caught 0 bonefish in 8 days of fishing. So,
wow.
Yeah. So
That's
not exactly sure what the bonefish deal is, because last year the bonefish in Isla Mirada were incredibly good. You know, we were getting multiple fish per tide. You can only fish for them for in these spots during certain portions of the tide, and because that's when they're transitioning through that part of the flat or around this point or that island, or they're hanging out in this depression or hole, and This year, man, it has been a real struggle for me on the bonefish, but the permit are making up for it. And who doesn't like to catch permit, you know?
Right? I've never caught one, so I wouldn't know. But it's on my bucket list, by the way.
Well, we'll come on down and we'll get your personal best.
Sounds good. Right on, right on. Well, the bite this week's been kind of funny with the full moon and the east wind we had. There the day or two we had or whatever. Definitely thought I was going to get with that full moon, man. It's just kind of put everything crazy.
It does. It certainly does.
The deer, the turkeys, everything. It just, I don't know, just everything seems to be acting funny. Even the fish were not a lot of males right now. We caught a lot of males, if that makes sense, with that full moon. So, but
did you notice? So I was in the banana yesterday, and I was talking about this in the first segment of today's show. The redfish were in the areas where we had multiple bait types. We had pilchards or glass minnows, baby little fries. There were mahara, there were pinfish, there were pilchards, there were finger mullet, there were full-size mullet in a lot of these areas. And the more types of bait we got together, the more fish seemed to be congregating around that area. But did you notice that the redfish were moving a lot? Because yesterday they were just cruising the shorelines.
I'll be honest with you, I did not concentrate on redfish at all. I was doing a lot of pigfish and trout fishing this past week.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Targeting speckled trout. But the redfish I did see were single, and I didn't see really any kind of pattern to them. No.
Okay.
Now Mike, on the other hand, when you talk to Mike next, Mike will tell you because he was doing a couple. Some scouting the other day, and he could probably tell you a pattern that they were doing. But I just concentrated on trout this week.
Gotcha. Well, it sounds like the trout bite is picking up. Pigfish and croakers and that sort of thing getting a little easier to come by?
Yeah, yes, sir. They're getting a little bit easier, and also getting the pigfish in general. They're just talking about them. They're actually getting the size where you can actually decently throw them.
Gotcha.
Croakers, they're getting them down towards y'all and bringing them up to us, but they want $2.50 a piece for them. I'm like, I'm not paying that for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's by the time you do all that, you're not making any money.
No, you're exactly right.
So, but yeah, no, it's the bite is definitely picking up with this weather we got. The pigfish are starting to show up, and it should be getting good. So if anybody wants to fish, give me or Mike a call up on the north end, and we'll take you.
Yeah. So. Well, I'll tell you, I'll pay $2 for a croaker because mullet are $40 a dozen in Islamorada right now.
Are you kidding me? Well, I mean, it would be different, but I'm going through, I'll go through 50, 75, 100 baits a trip.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you're going through that many baits, you're going, oh, wow, okay. That's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money. Yep. Well, you got to start doing like this. You got to start doing like the freshwater guys do and make the customers buy the shiners, right?
Yeah, I guess
we're only going to charge you $350 to go on this trip, but you got to buy another $350 worth of shiners just to make it worth your time.
Yeah, right. That'd actually be smart.
Yeah.
But anyway, if anybody wants to get on the boat this week, I've got a couple days open at 386-214-3530 is my contact. Good. Or you can get hold of Jim or on my website at coderedfishingcharters.com.
Code Red Fishing. I tell you what, Matt, it looks like it is going to be a phenomenal weather week right now. We're coming off of this full moon. Everything looks fantastic to be on the water this week. So it's a great week to get on a charter.
Oh, for sure. This weekend's supposed to be really pretty too, from what I hear.
Well, I'm looking forward to getting back out there on the water myself after the show today. I'm going to be back down in that Islamorada area for a couple of days, and just really looking forward to getting back out on the water and hopefully catching some more of those permit.
Good deal. I'll be with you on the permit, Jim.
All right, buddy. Well, you take care, and good luck out there, and be safe this week.
You be safe traveling. Talk to you later.
Thank you, sir. Gang, we're in the middle of getting our next caller on the line, I guess. Here he comes now. But I'll tell you, guys like Captain Matt, like he was talking about,
Hey, good
getting
morning,
out
Paul.
there
Give me
and
one
catching
second.
these,
Getting ready to go play.
these trout on the croakers or on the pigfish. This is a highly specialized type of fishing. You think, oh, I'll just go, throw my trap out and get a couple of these pigfish, or I'll just go and buy some from the bait store. You can do that, but I'll tell you, there's nothing like getting on board with a captain that does this day in and day out, year in and year out, and seeing the little nuances that it takes to truly make this a memorable experience. And that's what guys like Captain Matt Lee and Captain Mike Mann, who's coming up next. That's what these guys end up doing is you can take your learning curve, and it's I get guys on my boat all the time, and they're like, man, if I'd have known how to do that 5 years ago, I'd be catching a lot more fish. And it's just sometimes it's just a little simple, little subtle thing, but it's that little subtle thing that makes the difference whether you get the bite or not. Is Mike ready, or is he? Hey, buddy, what's going on? Are you on the water this morning, or are you sitting in the truck?
No, I'm on the water this morning. We're easing up to our next spot. We got 4 really nice trout at our first spot, and on piggies. The piggies are working.
Yeah, oinking the pigs, huh?
Oinking the piggies, man. And I missed a couple fish, and it's full moonitis, and but still getting fish to eat.
That was what I noticed yesterday was that that I got up and I'm loading the boat and I'm looking at that moon in the hanging way too low in the sky for my liking. If on a full moon, I was like, man, if that thing could be up just a little bit higher, it would give me an extra hour or two this morning. It was hanging pretty low, but whenever the fish decided yesterday that it was time, it was time. It was time, and they were chewing. So that's the one thing you can look forward to on a full moon bite.
Oh yeah, when they decide, and yesterday we had a really good bite first thing in the morning. And then when that wind laid down, the bite died. And that was okay because we were doing a short early morning trip. And same thing today, we've got some nice fish. We're easing up to our second spot. And, just a big trout coming out of the Mosquito Lagoon right now. Big trout.
Mike, are you seeing, last week you had talked about the redfish schools. Are you seeing, and how you were surprised at the number of redfish that you were seeing? Are you seeing that again this week, or did they break up?
Oh, no. Well, I saw a big school yesterday. Another boat spooked them, and they came at us. By the time they got to us, they were already so jacked up that they weren't going to eat.
Right.
But we did get to see them. And 2 days ago, I probably saw more trout in here than I've seen in a very, very long time.
That's great news.
I hit one area, and it was like I just power pulled down. I'm like, oh, there's one there. Oh, there's one there. There's another one. And they weren't eating great because, we are coming off full moon. I found them late in the morning.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, it's good seeing these great numbers of them. And, it's really given me hope. And this is the best I've seen the water in 10 years.
That's awesome. That's great news.
As we're easing up crystal clear water, I'm looking down, there's just miles of grass, which really, that makes me happy.
Here's the one thing, speaking of the grass, and a lot of people are like, oh, the grass is back, the grass is back. Yeah, but there's also something going on that gave us this grass, and there's something that needs to go on to make sure that we can continue to have this grass. So I was talking with Dr. Todd from University of Florida Whitney Labs, and he's the fellow behind the Indian River Lagoon clam restoration project through Whitney Labs. And Dr. Todd was saying that the bloom of grass that we have is because we didn't have grass for so many years. We're like, how did the grass come back this quickly? Well, there's all of these seeds that lay dormant until the conditions are right. So his worry, and we're all like, oh, the water's getting better, the water's getting better. His worry is that the influx of seawater that we had from that break in the in this, in the
in the
barrier
in the,
island
in the,
because of the hurricane, and we got all that fresh salt water in there. Did all of the seed pods bloom, and now we don't have any reserve, if you will? So what he's hoping is that all of these new grasses, that they get the opportunity to flower and seed, so that there's a reservoir to fall back on in case water does get, water qualities do suffer again. And this wasn't sort of a last hurrah type of a scenario. So I'm hoping that we do see good blooming in the seeds or in the grass this year, and we get lots of additional seeds to be able to replenish that stock of seeds from this last bloom.
Well, and I think one of the positive notes is before the breaks in the dunes, I was already seeing grass up in here. So with seeing that grass already starting, that gives me hope that that's been able to bloom, and that now that we're getting just a massive amount of it, that's going to continue to bloom. I mean, this is the best quality I've seen the water, in years.
That's great news. That's fantastic news.
And I think the lack of rain that we're having is helping a lot too.
Undoubtedly. The more fresh water we put in our saltwater lagoon system, the worse it gets. So it can, I'm looking for this 3 years of drought coming up here. You know what I mean? That we've heard about in the Bible.
Yeah, it's the change I've seen and how fast. Because I've said this before. Our redfish, they didn't get caught, they didn't die, they left. And I think that they moved to the ICW. They moved into the deeper water, and they changed their habits. And now they're starting to revert back to, okay, let's go get in the grass and look for some crabs. Let's look for some shrimp and some mollies and all the little
and
things
some baby clams.
And some baby clams.
Yeah, don't forget those baby clams. They're filtering water, but they're also food for fish. So it's a win-win. If some of them get eaten, hey, that's not a bad thing because it just brings more fish in here.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, just even like I picked up some oysters yesterday from Sharkbite Oysters. Sam, who's got one of the oyster farms over here, and the water up around all those oyster farms is incredible, and the oysters are incredible. Some of the best oysters I've had. Oysters from all over the country, and they're some of the best oysters I've had.
Oak Hill does have some pretty darn good oysters. Well, buddy, we're pushed up against our next break. Hopefully you'll continue smashing the big trout and getting a couple of redfish on top of it. How does somebody get a hold of you to go do that?
Oh, and real quick, the tarpon are here. You can give me a call at area code 386-295-5991. You can go right to my website, fatfishguide.com. Follow me on Instagram, CAPT Mike Man with 2 N's. And guys, get out there and go catch a memory, man.
Exactly.
Have a safe weekend, and remember what Memorial Day weekend's about.
Yes, most definitely. Appreciate that, Mike.
Thanks, guys. Get out and catch it up.
Take care, buddy. Hey, gang, we're going to take our next break. When we come back, we got a whole lot more Catch a Memory on this Memorial Day weekend. Don't go away. We're going to be right back after these messages. Hey, guys and gals, appreciate you tuning in. Listen to a little Toby Keith there. Tell you what, man, that was a great songwriter, great guy. Unfortunately, he's passed away, but, those things happen. We can't live forever. Want to let you know, though, that if you have an Engel cooler, it has a warranty forever on it. So you can get yourself an Engel cooler this weekend. I'll tell you what, man, you're going to enjoy the heck out of it. I have got a couple of different Engel coolers, as you all know, and I like every single one of them for different reasons. Here's my favorite thing to do this time of the year. When I buy shrimp, I put my shrimp in my Engel bait cooler with the bubbler on it. And this thing, if you take a frozen water bottle or two and put them in there and keep the water cold, you can keep shrimp alive for days in this thing. It really, really works well. I've been using it down on my Isla Mirada trips here the past couple of weeks, and it has really saved me a lot of money because the water down there has been between about 88 and 92 degrees on the flat. And if you start pumping 88 to 92 degree water into a bait well and those shrimp are in there, you're boiling them. They're not designed to handle that kind of water temperature. So by taking them and keeping them in cool water, 60, 65-degree water with a little frozen water bottle inside of my 19-quart Ingle, I'm keeping 8 to 10 dozen shrimp alive for the entire day, and only losing one or maybe two of those shrimp, which is, really good numbers. So I highly recommend for this time of the year, for those of you that like to use shrimp, check this particular product out. Does it work in the wintertime? Oh, yeah, it works in the wintertime, but you really don't notice it so much in the wintertime because the water temperatures are cooler. It's this time of the year when you notice, man, this thing is really doing the job. So you can check out all the cool stuff. Just go to inglecoolers.com and, lifetime warranty on almost all of their products. So I think you guys and gals are really going to be impressed with what you see there. We're going to go to the phone lines. We have Captain Ted Lund on the line. Good morning, Ted.
Hey, boy, you are right about that water temperature down here.
It is warm, brother. It is warm.
It's getting ready to go out and do a dolphin watching trip right now, and God, the people get in the water and go snorkeling, and they're like, we'd rather go back to the pool.
It isn't like jumping into the springs up in Gainesville, is it?
Well, no, not at all. And, I think the reason for that, we've had the last 3 years just absolutely unseasonable west winds.
Yes.
Have been blowing across the Gulf, which is where the water's hotter. And now, of course, the scientists have figured out that there is a thermocline coming out through the 7 Mile Bridge and all these other outlets, that the hotter water actually sits at the bottom, goes out to the reef, and then encircles the coral.
And so that's what's killing the coral, is that thermocline, huh?
Yes. Basically boiling it.
I didn't realize what a problem the hot water was posing until I was down. I was actually down there talking with Greg Block. I had dinner with him the other night. Greg used to be the owner of Jones and Company, which was a rep group that I worked for that had Rapala and VMC and Storm and that. So anyway, we had dinner together. He had been deep dropping and had caught some tilefish and other stuff, and so he invited me over to dinner with him. And he was talking about the problems that the coral are facing because of all of the hot water, and that a lot of it was really, in trouble right now.
Yeah, it's. This is unprecedented, and this much west wind. I mean, normally we get it during the wintertime. You get a front come through, blows out of the west for 1 or 2 days, and then it goes away. And it's been constant. Literally the last 3 years.
Yeah.
So it's a problem.
Now, have you seen
the angle cool tip is a good one?
Oh, it's great. I tell you, man, that's a game changer for me. Now, Ted, I was looking at various fisheries this year, and the bone fishing for me has been horrible, and I don't understand. Is that a Keys-wide phenomenon where there just doesn't seem to be many bones?
It hasn't been any good up in Islamorada for 10 years.
Yeah.
And I hate to say that, but you've got people like Bob Branham, the 45-year guide, grew up with Carl Hyacin. He is selling his boat, and he's getting out of it.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, it's just... it's like my dad used to say, it's not like it was yesterday, and it's never going to be like it is today, tomorrow.
Yeah.
So, we have this shifting baseline. But speaking of shifting baselines, I see once again the Canaveral Port Authority can't follow through with its plans.
Oh, really? I have been out of the loop. What's going on with that?
So now they are going to still throw Cape Marina out, but they're going to build 2 cruise terminals on the north side.
Well, that doesn't make any sense at all, does it?
No. This is the thing that frustrates me so much about this, and I know Orson Tarver's probably listening, but in all my dealings with nitwits like Wayne Justice, that they like to say, well, we have, more public access than any other commercial port in the state of Florida. Yeah, well, that means that you've restricted it by 90% over the last 30 years. I mean, there's nowhere. I did like your picture of your look down.
Yeah.
And, I used to love to go catch him up there on the north side by the CMEX terminal.
Yes.
You can't even get out there anymore.
No, there has been a huge restriction as to where the general public can and cannot go anymore. And I don't know why there's such restrictions, but it for me, growing up as a kid, and for you growing up as a kid, to be able to drive, you're like my grandfather and dad, we would drive out onto the dock and fish right from the dock right there.
Oh, absolutely. And
it
live
was
baiting kingfish off the freezer docks.
Yeah. It was wonderful. I'm not sure. Yesterday there was 5 boats in port, five cruise boats in port. I don't know how many people. I don't know how many people they're trying to accommodate, but Ben, apparently the cruise industry is not hurting right now.
Well, my question is, why do we need to be the largest cruise ship port in the world? Because that special taxation district, which is very much like Reedy Creek was set up to benefit the members or the residents of the district. How are they benefiting us?
I don't know. My taxes haven't gone down. I haven't seen any additional accesses.
They're probably going to have to go out and end up issuing bonds, which we're going to be responsible for. It's just a shame that people like Sue Ford aren't around anymore.
Yeah, this next cycle of elections, we really need to get somebody in there who's looking more for the locals and not for the tourists. That's the bottom line.
Absolutely. Now they're going to sell the Dubai Tower, that Discovery Center or whatever that is.
I thought that was the Pope's hat.
Yes, what a joke. I had a 75-year-old woman tell me it was a cocaine fingernail.
Oh, geez. Good grief.
So,
well, buddy, I appreciate you calling
crazy.
in this morning. We're pushed up against our top of the hour break, but
hey, real quick,
enjoy your cruise today.
Big shout out to Blair Wiggins. I've been following the success of the clam project there, and that's really encouraging.
Oh, I'm telling you, man. And we're seeing baby clams everywhere. It's so cool.
I saw that. I saw your son's post.
Yep, it is so
that's
cool.
Good. It's good stuff.
Well, Ted, have a great day, buddy.
Sounds good. You too.
You take care now. Gang, we're going to take our top of the hour break. When we come back, we've got a whole nother hour of Catch a Memory going on right after this, so don't go away. Hey, guys and gals, welcome back. It's another hour of Catch a Memory right here, and I'm your host, Captain Jim Ross, and we appreciate y'all tuning in every Saturday morning to listen to what's going on up and down the Space Coast and all over the world at this point. We've talked about Madeira and Canary Islands, and we've talked about the Isla Mirada area and the Key West area with Ted Lund, and now we're going to talk about what you can do all around the state of Florida with the CCA Star Tournament, because we've got Lisa Fitzgerald from CCA calling in this morning. And Lisa, it is Memorial Day weekend, and it is the kickoff of the Florida Star Tournament presented by CCA.
You are correct, Jim, and it is amazing to see how many people are engaged already in the tournament, but I don't want people to forget, especially your listeners, that you can still get registered in the competition throughout the entire tournament.
Yeah.
So, you have that opportunity, and because you may miss today doesn't mean you don't have the opportunity to still win. But what I will encourage people to do is to get registered as quickly as possible, because the way that the tagged redfish division works is we have 5 major prizes, and the first winner gets their choice of all of those prizes out of them. They get to pick one. So if you're the first person, you get a choice between a contender, a deck cat, a microdraft skiff, a spider boat powered by Yamaha sitting on an infinity trailer, or a Can-Am Sea-Doo package. And I will tell you, every one of those boats is specific and cool in its own right. Everyone knows the Contender, but if you don't know that deck, Cat, that boat is a fishing machine.
It is
27 feet, 8 feet wide, with a Yamaha sitting on the back. It runs shallow. It is stable. It can take big water. You take a look at the microdraft skiff, and if you want shallow and skinny, although she's got a big frame, she is a skinny boat. And then let's talk about sexy. That Spider boat is one of the sexiest skiffs on the water, in my opinion. Beautiful lines, gorgeous live wells, gets you skinny, but still a beautiful boat. And it is an all-around boat, whereas that microdraft skiff is very specific to skinny water. That Spider can get you, that 19 Spider can get you anywhere. And those adventure adrenaline junkies, look at the Sea-Doo Fish Pro Trophy and the Can-Am package. It's an amazing package. So there's something for everyone.
Yeah. And you know, Lisa, the longer you wait, the less likely you are to get one of those prizes, simply because somebody else is going to catch a tagged redfish, because there's a bunch of them out there in state waters. How many tagged redfish are in Florida waters right now?
167 tagged redfish are in the coastal waters of Florida.
Wow.
And I hate to drag people away from your coast, but I'm going to suggest, if you're planning on targeting that tagged redfish, look at Charlotte County, because they have 8 tagged redfish. Their Economic Development Council felt like it was prudent for them to have more fish in their county, to bring more people to their area. They have 8 tagged redfish in their county, and Citrus County has 8 tagged redfish in their county. So those 2 counties actually have tagged redfish in their counties, double any other county.
Wow.
Now what that but what that does is every year we've had at least one tagged redfish come out of their coastal waters. Unfortunately, not always were those anglers registered, but Charlotte County has produced 3 winners, and Citrus County has produced 2.
So, and pretty impressive numbers, even though they haven't had the additional redfish. And now that they do have them, chances are probably pretty good somebody's going to find one.
Well, they've been destination counties for us every year since 2017, and that is why we've had so many winners come out of their counties, because there are more redfish in their county.
Yeah.
So Brevard County used to be one of our destination counties, and this year they did not choose to be a destination county for us. But, man, you guys talk to them. Maybe we can get 8 redfish over there in Brevard County again.
That would be good.
There are a lot of, but I don't want to just talk about tagged fish, because any fish, any saltwater fish can win. In the inshore division, you can win a brand new Carolina skiff, 18-foot, with a Yamaha motor sitting on a trailer. I mean, there are so many ways to win with so many different species. With our new format, we allow for more species to be entered in the inshore division. So you can catch a flounder, a sheep's head, a black drum, redfish, snook, trout. Those all go in the inshore division, and you can enter up to 3 species a day.
That's great numbers, because you know a lot of our guys out there are thinking, well, if I don't catch the tagged redfish, then I can't win anything. But there's so many other ways to potentially win, and you know you've got the offshore divisions as well.
Yep, and in the offshore division, it's almost any offshore species. It includes tilefish, grouper, snapper, sailfish, mahi, kingfish, amberjack, permit. All of these fish can be entered in the offshore division, and you can win a brand new 250 Yamaha as the first place prize in the offshore division. And in both the inshore and the offshore division, we're paying out 12 places. So it's not the biggest fish that wins. It's a random drawing.
Yeah, that's incredible. And like you say, just about any fish can be entered.
Well, I understand that a couple of the guys are great at catching pufferfish, ladyfish, and catfish, and those can be entered in the Power Pole Conservation Division with a shot at winning a brand new power pole, all kinds of great prizes. So everybody has an opportunity to win.
That's fantastic. So whether you're sitting on the dock, whether you're walking the bank, whether you're wade fishing, kayak fishing, boat fishing, inshore, offshore, doesn't matter. There's something for everybody in the CCA Star Tournament, and it's so inexpensive to get into it. That's the thing that I like about it. It's one of the least expensive tournaments you will ever enter, and yet still have the potential to win prizes that are up to $100,000 in retail value.
Oh, exactly. And so many winners. We have over 100 winners a year. So it's not just like you're going to go and buy for first place. You can win. I mean, there's a trash division. Youth. If you don't know what to do with your kids over the summer, get them fishing, and they can win college scholarships. $100,000 we are awarding this year. That rounds out year 10 for $1 million college scholarships awarded to youth anglers.
All thanks to CCA. So recreational anglers that are out there listening, if you are not a member of CCA, you can obviously see a lot of the good things that CCA is doing. If you're a tournament guy, if you're competitive in any way, shape, or form, and like to get involved with keeping track of the species that you catch, the CCA Star Tournament is a great way to do that. What's interesting to me is I've talked to people in the past, Lisa, that have fished past years, and one of the things that they like is they say, you know what, I go fishing, and I kind of remember this fish, and I kind of remember that fish. But with the CCA Star Tournament, you have a log. Every fish that you submit, you have a log of what you caught that summer. And so you can go back and you can look at it and you go, well, I caught 18 redfish, and I caught 37 trout. I caught 14 snook and 2 tarpon. And, you can look at all of the different species that you were able to land over that summer of fishing. And it's kind of one of those things where it's neat to be able to keep tabs on what you're doing when you're out on the water.
And, you're right. In that regard, it is a great way to do that and a lot of fun. But, I encourage people who fish other tournaments. Star becomes a tournament within a tournament. If you're fishing a kingfish tournament, all your fish, as long as you take a picture of them on the official measuring device, all the fish you catch and enter in another tournament can also go into the CCA Florida Star competition. Yeah. So please remember, all the fish that you catch, you have the opportunity to enter them. That's double dipping. So, I mean, you have a great opportunity there. People don't realize it, but I keep telling all the kingfish guys, man, you might not win in your kingfish tournament, but every one of those small kingfish you catch, as long as they're of minimum size, you can enter them in the offshore division and in our conservation division and win something out of that tournament that you just paid $450 or $750 to fish. You still could win something even if you don't win in that tournament.
And the cool thing about the CCA Star Tournament is that on pre-fish days, when you're out there doing your scouting before the actual tournament, you can log all those fish in too.
That's right. Well, and if you come across one of our tagged dolphins, Tigris tagged dolphins, and you are in the competition, it's $10,000 cash.
Yeah. Yep. Great
you
stuff.
Catch one of our tagged dolphins. So there's so many ways to win.
Well, I know that there's probably very few people out there who haven't heard of the CCA Star Tournament and how to get involved with it. But for those that haven't and those that need a refresher, like myself, how do we go and get involved with the CCA Star Tournament this year?
So all you have to do is go to our website. It is ccaflstar.com. Go right online. There's all kinds of information there. Get yourself registered. Read about it. There's a new format, bigger prizes, lots of great opportunities to win. Or give us a call, 844-387-7827. we'll register you right over the phone, no problem whatsoever. It is a great opportunity to engage in a fun family fishing competition. Families tell me my kids love it because we go out, we catch a few fish, then we go pick up garbage, and it is a fun day on the water. So they have a purpose when they go out there, not just, going out to go fishing. It's something fun to look forward to and to make their summer fishing more rewarding.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, Lisa, thanks so much for the call this morning. We look forward to talking with you again next week and seeing if anybody's actually caught one of those tagged redfish, which, as well as I do, a lot of times right at the beginning of the tournament, there's a whole bunch of people that catch, but unfortunately, many of them aren't registered. So hopefully all of our listeners out there in Catch a Memory Land will get registered and catch themselves one of those tagged redfish or any number of other fish that they can catch.
Well, thank you very much, Jim, and I will look forward to talking to you next week.
All righty. Take care now. Hey, gang, wanted to say real quick before we go, appreciate all you guys and gals tuning in online. If you get a chance to share the show onto your personal feed, we appreciate that as well. We're going to be right back with more Catch a Memory after these messages, so don't go away. Hey, guys and gals, welcome back. We appreciate y'all tuning in every Saturday right here to Catch a Memory Outdoors. I'm Captain Jim Ross. For those of you that are just tuning in, welcome to the show. You've missed some great stuff so far. We've had some great interviews. Want to let you know that this segment of the show is brought to you by Petrucci Insurance. And Don Petrucci at Petrucci Insurance is always looking for a fishing partner. So if you guys and gals get a chance to go fishing sometime, you want to try and maybe hook up with Don and share a trip with me, you can always contact me and we can try to put that together. But right now I'm going to let you know, if you don't want to pay too much for your insurance, give Petrucci a call. Let them source it out, see who's got the best deal for you. Try and save you some money. Try and get you a better policy for the amount of money you are paying. That's what Petrucci does. So give them a call at 321-632-1200. That's 321-632-1200, and you can get a hold of them right there at Petrucci Insurance. I want to say good morning. I've kind of been ignoring the Facebook feed here, but we've got a lot of people on this morning. We want to say good morning to them. It's interesting to listen to where people are from. We got Greg Lund out in Cocoa Beach. We got Robin, my beautiful wife, and want to tell Miss Robin, this is a couple of days early, but want to wish her and myself a happy anniversary, which happens on the 27th. But she's in Miami this morning. David Giovannini's out there. Sean Scribner Sr. is actually in Aruba this morning, so that's kind of cool. We got Bill Bowman checking in from Annapolis, Maryland. Orson Tarver, Cocoa Beach. Mark Pryor checking in from Michigan this morning. So there's a lot of guys and gals that are kind of out of town, and it's interesting to hear where everybody's checking in from. But we appreciate you guys and gals tuning in every Saturday to check out what's going on right here at Catch a Memory Outdoors via the Facebook feed. And remember, if you miss the Facebook feed, you can always go back and check it. Or if you're on YouTube, you can go to Captain Jim Ross on YouTube, and you can watch it on my YouTube channel. So that's another way that you can check things out. Earlier in the show, we were talking about it's summertime. Summer is here. The bait is getting here. The grass is growing. You've heard it from Captain Matt Lee. You've heard it from Captain Mike Mann. The Mesquite Lagoon's turning on. I've fished the Banana River. The Banana River's starting to turn on. Talking with Captain Glenn Austin, there's some good snook action. And actually, Captain Jeff Kranick, there's some good snook action down in the Sebastian area, all up and down the flats down there, around the Spoil Islands, underneath the mangrove trees along the shorelines, the docks. Lots of good activity. But we do have this full moon, and so obviously it's one of those things where, you have to pick your time. And so let's talk about times. Let's talk about the catch conditions real quick, because part of that includes the solar lunar tables. So we've got the best times to get out there on the water coming up at the end of the fishing and boating conditions report. So today we've got a southwest wind at about 5 knots, becoming south at about 5 to 10 by this afternoon and evening. Seas inside of 20 miles are supposed to be roughly 1 to 2 feet with a dominant period of around 8 seconds. That's the ground swell. the wind chop is going to be about 1 foot at about 3 seconds on top of that. So it looks like a gorgeous day to be out on the ocean. Ponce Inlet Ponce Inlet buoy, 13 miles offshore, was reading 78 degrees and 2 foot at 7 seconds this morning. The 4-mile buoy at Canaveral was reading 81 degrees, and seas were 21 feet. I'm sorry, not 21. Were 1 foot with a period of 8 seconds. So pretty doggone calm out there right now. The 20-mile buoy was reading 81-degree water temperature, and seas were 2 feet at 8 seconds. And the 6-mile buoy outside of Fort Pierce was reading in at 80 degrees and 1 foot seas at about 8 seconds. So nice, calm conditions for you guys and gals to get out there. Western edge of the Gulf Stream is anywhere from 25 to about 35 nautical miles due east of the east central part of the state. And the tides at Canaveral look like this. We've got a high this morning at 9:41 a.m., a low at 3:28 p.m., and a high again this evening at 10:13 p.m. And at Sebastian, we've got a high at 9:44 a.m., a low at 3:54 p.m., and a high at 10:28 p.m. And then those still lunar tables that we talked about that are the best times to get out there and fish and hunt, presented by All About Archery. 7:31 to 8:31 this morning is a minor, and then there's another minor at 10:01 to 11:01 p.m. tonight. And the major for today is from 2:15 to about 4:15 p.m. So we're looking forward to a great day on the water. Hopefully you guys and gals will be safe out there. Be courteous to your other boaters that are out there, and just enjoy the heck out of the day. We're going to go to the phone lines. We've got Captain Alex Huey on the line. Good morning, Alex.
How you doing, buddy?
Good, man. How are you doing this week?
I'm doing all right. We're out here fishing the Banana River.
I was out there yesterday and had an absolutely fantastic time, even though that full moon was trying to put a damper on it.
Yeah, it was good yesterday in the ocean, too. I was surprised because that moon was giant.
Yep.
But, yeah, we got a handful of reds. We got, like, one really nice trout, like a 25-inch trout.
Nice, big one, yeah.
Yeah, it was a real big one. So, not doing too bad. Missed a couple. Got a couple tree branches.
Yeah, we were squirrel fishing a little bit yesterday. You know, my customer's like, I'm underestimating my casting ability.
You have to. Not playing in the bushes, you're not catching fish.
Yes, that's what I keep telling them. I'm like, if you're not getting hung up once in a while, you're not trying hard enough. You got to get up under those trees where those fish are.
Yeah, it's so different with all these dolphins and fishing pressure and stuff. They really want these bushes.
Well, and yesterday, Alex, I actually found a school of fish, redfish, first thing in the morning, but it was about 8:30 in the morning, and was easing up on them. And I had some unwanted help from a jet skier that decided he was going to run all up and down the flat right in front of me.
You love that, don't you?
Yeah, it was awesome. So,
I mean, it almost sounds like it was Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah. Anyway, needless to say, the redfish went past me, and I think they came real close to breaking the sound barrier as they ran past the boat after being bush hogged, multiple times by the jet ski.
I can't stand that. That's one of my biggest pet peeves. And half of it, they're just they're interested in what you're doing.
Yeah.
They don't
realize how badly they're messing you up when they do that.
Yeah. We have not seen a single boat yet.
Well, hopefully that continues for you.
I won't hold my breath.
Yep.
But
So, Alex, you're talking about you got some nice redfish going on this morning. Are the redfish cruising the shorelines, or are they sitting right now? Because yesterday, mid-morning, there was a lot of movement. The redfish were really moving a lot up and down those bank lines.
Right there, right anywhere in here. It depends. They're not moving like I would expect. I'm having to wait a while, going in between places to see them, and then when we find the little zone that they're in, they're kind of bouncing back and forth. You'll get a bite here, bite there, and then stop it. Oh, let me see it. but they're not really doing what I would think. You know, with this moon, I would thought they would have been kind of congregated a little better up in these little holes.
Right.
But they're definitely seem to be kind of moving back and forth between them.
Yeah, I had fish where, you know, I was working down the shoreline, and we had fish that were coming to us that we were taking shots at, but you had to look over your shoulder because we had fish that were coming up from behind us as well. And in many cases, it was fish that I think that we had previously seen, and they were just turning around and coming back in the opposite direction.
Coming back at you.
Yeah, and we actually got a couple of those fish to eat, surprisingly, you know?
They liked the look of that skeeter.
They did. They were checking it out.
Oh, man. But it is really nice out here. I can't believe how, like, flat and calm and just really nice.
It's
really
great
nice
to see.
Day.
What kind of bait are you using this morning?
We're using a little bit of a mix from gulp shrimp, a little bit of mullet, and right now, tree branch.
Yeah. Well, you need peanut butter on the hook for that because the squirrel might come down the branch and get it.
You ain't lying. But, no, it's been good. I mean, we got most of our fish on mullet, you know, this morning at least.
Yep.
Yesterday, I couldn't get a bite on anything but a shrimp, and it was the smallest shrimp that you could find. That's what they wanted.
Yeah, they do get real specific sometimes, don't they?
I can't stand it. You know, they go from – oh, I almost had it. They go from eating, you know, big jumbo hand-sized baits to eating these just little tiny, like, you know, that elephant eats peanuts is a real thing.
It is. It is a real thing. Well, buddy, it sounds like you're wrestling with a mangrove tree there. I'll let you get back to it. But how does somebody jump on board and get fishing with you?
www.captainalexhuey.com.
Awesome. All righty. Well, you enjoy the rest of the day and continued success and be safe out there.
All right, buddy. Have a good day.
Take care. Captain Alex Huey, y'all. Hopefully, we're going to be back out on the water with, or back in the studio with Captain Alex here in a couple of weeks. But until then, you guys can give him a call and get out, do some fishing with him. We're going to be right back with more Catch a Memory after this break. So you guys and gals don't go away. Hey, guys and gals, you know what time it is? It's Starbright time. It's Starbright season. Let's look at the bucket. The bucket says it all. Starbright season right there on the bucket. You know what? I want to tell you about Salt Off. And you know, we talk a lot of different things about the Starbright products. Here is what Salt Off can do for your motor. And if you guys and gals want to keep a motor in good shape for a long time, I just got my 1,000 hours service done on one of my skeeters. 1,000 hours of saltwater use. I don't think the boat's been in fresh water more than 5 minutes of that time. There's internal zincs that go inside the head of the motor, and they're sacrificial anodes to help combat the salt water. And they, just like the other zincs that are on the outside of the boat, they degrade to the point where they have to be replaced. And, you know, that's just a typical maintenance thing. Your motor oil goes bad after a while. Your lower unit fluid goes bad after a while. Your spark plugs quit working properly after a while. Your zincs quit working properly after a while. 1,000-hour service. I use Salt Off 2 to 3 times a week. Not every single trip, but 2 to 3 times a week. They pull the zincs out of the head on my 300 Yamaha and look at them, and they're like, I got a phone call. Did somebody already replace the zincs in this motor? My reply, no, because I don't do work on it. I let a 5-star Yamaha certified dealer do all the work on my Yamaha. They were like, these things look incredible. What are you using to keep it that way? Starbright Salt Off. So if you guys and gals want to make sure that you're cleaning the inside of your motor, you know, all of those water passages out, cleaning them out properly after each use or every other, third, fourth, fifth use, whatever it happens to be, if you want to create a better environment for your motor, put Salt Off through it when you're done running it in salt water. Stuff is fantastic. Now, this kit that I'm showing on Facebook, you guys can see that on the video portion of it, this comes with a quart size Salt Off bottle and the applicator to hook it up to a hose that you can then hook up to the flushing port on your outboard motor. And it doesn't matter if you have a Yamaha, Mercury, Suzuki, Tohatsu, whatever, just run some Saltol through it and make that motor last a whole lot longer. Bottom line is 1,000 hours of saltwater use, and it doesn't need a replacement. The zincs don't need replacing. That's a true testament right there. So that's a win for me, and it's a win for you if you go out and get some Saltol. Anyway, we're going to go to the phone lines. In fact, we know a guy that may have used a little Saltol or two. He's on the line right now. It's Captain Blair Wiggins. Good morning, Blair.
Yes, sir, man. I tell you what, since that Saltol's come out, I don't have to wash the boat near as much as I did. Because what I do when I first got the deck cap, man, I coated it, I washed it and coated it down with the Starbright, the deck wax, and then for 6 months, I wouldn't say 6 months, but I'd say at least 6-8 weeks. All I had to do was wash it down, give it not even a little scrub, but just with a high pressure hose. And then hit it with the salt off again, and you leave the salt off on top of the boat and let it dry, and it gives a little coating on there, and it makes it that much easier to get it off the next time. One product I did want to say, too, if you've never run salt off through your engine, Starbright also has a descaler kit, and you can run that through your engine, and I mean, you will see it's just like pouring uric acid on your driveway. You see these bubbles start coming out of your engine. And it's all that descaling stuff that goes on, but it's a whole kit that you hook up, and they have the, how to do it and everything. It's pretty neat to watch, and and then you run salt off through it, and it keeps it nice and clean.
So for a person that owns a boat, and let's say they've had their boat 3, 4, 5, 6 years, they've run it in salt water primarily, or at any time really, and they've never used a product like Salt Off. This would be sort of an instant cleaner to get all the extra gunk out, and then you can maintain it with the salt off.
Exactly, and you can run the descaler in any engine. If you say you miss running salt off through it for a few months, and you want to make sure everything's good and clean, you run that descaler through it. I mean, it cleans it like cleaner than a whistle.
That's cool. That's cool. Well, buddy, I heard rumor that there was going to be 1 billion clams put into the Indian, Banana, and Mosquito Lagoons by the end of this year. I think I heard it from a fairly reliable source. It was this guy named the Mogan Man. And I was just wondering, have you talked with that guy lately and seen how that project's coming along?
Well, we're well on our way. We just surpassed our 40 million clam mark here a couple of weeks ago when
Nice.
we did a release with the drone. And it's all up to the funding. If as long as we got the funding coming in, and I heard Lisa Fitzgerald on here earlier from CCA, and I just got to say it again. Without her and CCA, this clam project would not have gotten off the ground. Period. And how they brought Duke Energy to the table last year with a $50,000 donation, and CCA matched it. I mean, it was incredible, dude. At the banquet, I couldn't believe it. But anyway, back to the clams. We, like I said, we just surpassed our 40 million clam mark, and we're fixing to get our last clam planting coming in here. We're trying to get it next Friday. And it's going to be the last 2 million before the summer heat kicks in. We don't like to put them out when the water's really, really hot.
Right. Let the ones that are in there acclimate to it. Don't take them out of the environment that they're in at the hatchery and throw them straight into the hot tub.
Yep, exactly. And if anybody caught the news here the past couple weeks for 26935, every news station out there, thanks to thanks to Captain Justin Ross, your youngin, he caught a couple of clams in the cast net and sent me. And it was ironic though, because I was on my way down to the Indian River Council just to sit in on a meeting, and sent me the picture down there, and I was on my way down. I saw the baby clams. I'm like, holy cow! So I even mentioned it down there when I got up and spoke at the council meeting. And next thing I knew, there was news crews calling, and it was like, it's working. So I'm like, Yeah, it's working like I said it would.
Yep.
But it's or just like I'm not going to take all the credit for it. Dr. Todd and his crew up there at Whitney Labs, CCA, all the help we've gotten, man. It ain't all me. But I'm happy as heck that it's working, and we have the proof out there now.
Yeah, whenever you start,
it only took 5 years to become an overnight success.
Exactly. Jody Calderon, a good friend of mine. Jody and I were hanging out over at his place, and he was writing some songs and things like that. He's been a Nashville musician for a number of years, and he was talking about writing songs when he actually, back in the day when he was working with Cross and Dixon and some of those other country acts, Jason Aldean, when he first started out. Anyway, there's this guy named Hardy that shows up to an audition, and this is 20 years ago, and he said, yeah, young kid, kind of green, wet behind the ears, whatever you want to call it, and he says, man, he goes, looking at, he goes, I've known him for a long time. We've run into each other, over the years multiple times. He goes, look at the success look at the overnight success that he's become in the last 3 or 4 years, and Morgan Wallen is another very, very good friend of Jody's. And, they all write together a lot of times. And it's one of those things where, you keep plugging, and after a decade or two, finally you're an overnight success. So taking that back to the clam restoration project, here we are 5 years later, 6 years later, and it's all of a sudden an overnight success. So.
Yeah, exactly. That's what O'Neill Williams told me. O'Neill's got that O'Neill Outside show, and I used to do a lot of shows with him. And he when as soon as I started the show, he's like, "Man, it's going to take a lot of work. In about 7 years, you'll be an overnight success."
Well, the bottom line is, Blair, water conditions have been pretty good for about the last 2 years. We haven't had any huge issues. We've had a little problem here and a little problem there, which is to be expected, but the water quality overall is getting better. The clams that are now reproducing, and like the ones that Justin found in the Cocoa Beach area, in places that you really aren't expecting to maybe find a clam. And all of a sudden,
in Banana River.
Yeah, all of a sudden they're showing up.
Yeah, Banana River is the epicenter of the worst water in Brevard County that we have.
Yeah, and has been for decades,
Yeah.
So to see the success that the clams are having there, it's just really exciting, because the more of those things we can get in the water, I call it a win-win. It's a win because they're surviving and they're filtering the water. It's a win because they're spawning and creating more clams. And it's a win because now the pompano, the whiting, the black drum, the sheephead, the puffer fish, the redfish, all have a food source that they have not had for quite a while. And so, I talked to, we all talk to various people, and some people are excited about it, and some people still are on the negative side of it. Well, how many of those clams are dying? How many of those clams are getting eaten by fish? How many, the way I look at it is, who cares? Who cares how many clams die? Well, to a point. And there's a certain percentage of them that are going to die. But that happens anyway. There's a certain percentage of them that are going to get eaten by fish. Who cares? There's fish there to actually eat them. Their fish have come there because the clams are there. So if they get eaten, that's a win for everybody that fishes, because now we have more fish to fish for. We're creating the habitat. It's that whole scenario. If you build it, they will come. And so we're building back a better lagoon, not to take some words from somebody that, may have previously used them. But we're actually successful in this endeavor. Was that a little jab there? Anyway, we're building back a better lagoon system so that we can build back a better habitat for everything, not just the fish, but everything that survives within and thrives within the lagoon. And we're seeing that. And I tell you, it's so exciting Captain Alex Shuey out on the Banana River this morning. I was out there yesterday. We're looking at this water and we're going, man, this water looks so much better than it did. It's got so much more life in it than it did. Mosquito Lagoon, Captain Mike Mann says, seagrass growing everywhere. Now, obviously, if we can find where the seagrasses are and overplant those with the clams so that the clams can get down in the grass beds, I mean, there's another win-win. That's like, that's like fertilizing, if you will, but using the clams to actually benefit the grass. There's just there's so many wins that are going on with this particular project.
I've seen a lot of the negative Nellies out there, the keyboard warriors out there bashing, not really bashing, but complaining that everything's going to die out there. You got to look at it's a new generation of life that we're creating out there, and not only us, Mother Nature itself creating, because these just like the clams, everything else out there, the fish, the horseshoe crabs, everything is a stronger generation. I don't think you could take a redfish from 1980 and put it in the water today and it would survive, just because it hasn't gone through the genetic building of the bad water quality that it's been through and everything else. So these fish and the next generation of life that's out there is a lot stronger, including the algae and everything else. So, I mean, the thing has to keep up, and hopefully we've, kind of nipped it in the bud at ground zero with the clams and bringing those back in as super clams and being able to survive the bad conditions, because we got some bad conditions on the rise. I mean, it's no doubt they're predicting bad hurricane seasons, record heats, and right now they're talking that the water in the Atlantic's already July temperatures. So, we're going to have to, do what we can to protect what we got out there right now.
I saw 85, 86 yesterday in the Banana River for water temps, and that's fairly high for this early in the season. I saw 92 down on the flats in Isla Mirada, and that was really unusual. It was 91.7 to 92 degrees on those a couple of west wind days. And we're definitely seeing stressors. We're seeing stressors. Well, buddy, we are up against our next break. Do you want to hold through the break, or do you want to sign off for now?
Sure, I can hold if you need to.
Okay. Well, we're going to get this last break out of the way, and when we come back, we got a whole lot more going on right here at Catch a Memory, and got Captain Blair Wiggins on the line with us, so don't go away. Hey, guys and gals, welcome back. We appreciate y'all tuning in every Saturday right here to Catch a Memory Outdoors. This segment of the show is brought to you by Strike Zone down in Melbourne. If you're looking for salt off, if you're looking for an Engel product, if you're looking for some saltwater assassins or anything else you hear about on this show, you can probably find it except for Lamb Deck, you can probably find it at Strike Zone. So stop in a Strike Zone, check them out. You guys and gals are going to be impressed with what you find down there. Also, real quick, want to let you know, next week, the 55th annual Offshore Slam that is presented by the Florida Sport Fishing Association. Captain's meeting is the 31st, starts at 5:30 at Sunrise Marina, and then Saturday, June 1st, lines in the water at 6 a.m., and the party/weigh-in start at 2 p.m. So $15,000 worth of general awards, $5,000 for big fish, $5,000 for the trolling slam. Great sponsors for this thing. You guys and gals get entered up, and if you register, you can, too late now. After the 15th, you don't get a tournament shirt. You can still buy one, though. So May 31st, Captain's Meeting, June 1st, tournament. This is the 55th annual Florida Sport Fishing Association June fishing tournament, the Offshore Slam. You can go to offshoreslam.com and check them out there. It's always a big time, good event to be part of. Great, the Central Florida Offshore Anglers, which is now going to be becoming the Central Florida Saltwater Anglers. They're changing their name. And, of course, the Florida Sport Fishing Association. Two great organizations to get involved with if you're looking for, some people that are fishy just like you and me. We're going to go back to the phone lines. We got Captain Blair Wiggins on the line this morning. Blair, we were talking about the water quality, how good it is. I just got a text. Our good friend, Kerry Ide, is out on the Banana River right now in his new boat, or new to him boat. He says, Banana River's looking awesome. Caught a few trout already this morning. The grass is looking pretty good. Water's looking clear. And right now he has 82.12 in the channel. So it actually has dropped down a little bit overnight. But it should, once you get back out on the flat in the shallower water, you should see it come back up to around 85 or 86 by midday and afternoon.
That's a little warm.
Yep. Yeah, it is.
Especially for this time. I do remember back in guiding days when I did have the people would book their trips, my kids, getting out for the summer, and it would be the first part of the summer like this. And I can remember 25 years ago, 88 degrees on the flats, like when temperature first came out on your, I think I was running Garmin back then. But, it had a temperature gauge on it. And I remember 88.8 degrees one time. And, yeah, I thought that was extremely hot.
Yeah, that's the truth.
But the big schools were still here then, so hopefully we get those back. But this next week coming up here, like I said, we're doing our last clam planting. We're going to exceed 40, I think, right about 43 million clams out to date, and it's working. And I was talking before the break about we have the keyboard warriors out there that are kind of bashing the drone technique that we're using now, and it is a lot more efficient the way we're doing this. We planted 9 million clams 3 weeks ago, and we did it over 6 acres, and we were able to do it within within a couple hours.
What I don't understand, if you're unhappy, keep it to yourself. Don't be bashing other. There's so many people that want to bash somebody else, but when you're looking at a flying deer feeder that can put out 500,000 clams in a shot, how is that a bad thing?
Yeah, and the proof's in the pudding up there. Thanks to JJ, we have found clams near the clam beds, especially the giant clam beds where we have a few million out in certain areas. We have found clams outside the area where we planted, smaller clams, and there wasn't clams there 5 years ago. But now that we have actual people in the water, like Justin out there, he's proof right there. I mean that the project's working, and we got people saying it's not going to work, but there you go. There's the proof in the pudding.
It's proven them wrong. That's for sure. Well, Blair, it's Memorial Day weekend. It's a fantastic time to be out on the water. Everybody hopefully will get out there and be safe. Obviously we don't need any boating accidents or fatalities. Are you going to get out on the water this weekend and take the missus with you? Or are you going to go slide around in the airboat, or what have you got planned for the weekend?
I'm going to go where kicker boats can't go this weekend. Me and Kyle, Kyle's coming over about 5 o'clock this afternoon. We're going to go out and on St. John's and, fish the deep holes and see what we can come up with out there. We're going to rig up the ultralights and go have some fun.
Well, that sounds like a blast.
And also Memorial Day, that's the beginning of the Star Tournament, got to say that. And you mentioned that tournament next weekend. You can't get a shirt, but you can join the CCA, become part of the Star Tournament, and tournament within a tournament. That's pretty cool. I didn't think about that until she said that this morning on the phone.
We got about 30 seconds left. Have we got a time frame or possibly even a date for the next IRL clam restoration banquet?
October 5th. It is set right now.
Awesome. October 5th, 3 days before my birthday.
Cool beans. Well, happy anniversary, Jim. Hope you have a great weekend down there in the Keys with Miss Robin. And, Paul, you have a great weekend yourself. Y'all have a awesome Memorial Day weekend.
Yep, Paul says thank you. Well, guys and gals, I'll tell you what, that was the Mogan man, Captain Blair Wiggins, calling in with some great news about the Clam Project. It's so exciting to see the advancements that are happening in the lagoon system with, the stormwater reclamations, the sewer to septic to sewer conversions, the clams going in. All of these things are just making me really excited about the future for this whole area, and hopefully it's making you guys and gals excited too. Remember those who need to be remembered here on Memorial Day. There's a lot of sacrifice that's been made to allow you guys and gals to go out and enjoy some fishing in a free country, and we want to say thank you to those that have given the greatest sacrifice so that the rest of us can be out there enjoying ourselves. And until next week, do exactly what I'm going to do. Get out there and catch yourselves a memory.